Alright, so in the last video, I said that if it got 10,000 likes, that I would respond to the GameStop Transgender song with my own diss track. But right now, that video's sitting just under 6,000 likes, so, you know, honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen. So, I mean, personally, I don't care either way. I'll do the diss track if it gets 10,000, you know, I'll just not do it if it doesn't. But anyways, thank you guys for coming back here to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be looking at a special needs girl who's being bullied by her teachers. Like, I'm not even making that up. It's pretty sad, but this is something I think more awareness needs to be brought to. It has, you know, a couple million views on Twitter, but I mean, that's just on Twitter, so I mean, if you guys were following me on Twitter, which most of you aren't, then maybe, but, you know, yet another shameless plug here in the first couple minutes of the video. If you're not following me on Twitter at @Optimus, you are totally missing out. But anyways, this video takes place at Berkeley Heights Elementary, which God only knows how many of those there are in the country, and this isn't just one instructor. That's what's crazy. It's not just one teacher. This is like multiple teachers who are gearing together pretty much just to like bully these kids. And I don't mean like they're just calling them names or something like that. They're like threatening to beat them and like fight them. And it's like, it's mean. It's horrible. I've never understood what compels a human being to act this way towards somebody who can't defend themselves and has no idea what's going on. But I mean, these teachers have absolutely no problem just, you know, going in on these kids. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get into this right now.
Try to backhand you right in your teeth. How's that for anxiety?
I mean, yeah, obviously, the kid's scared, you know, got anxiety, a little nervous. Why don't we just, you know, threaten to backhand him in the face? That'll probably solve the problem. I'm sure that when you thought of saying that, you know, you completely processed that one, right? That one went through your head all the way, right?
This is what Amber Pack heard after placing a recording device in her 8-year-old daughter's hair before school.
Now, I'm not 100% sure of the legality of this because I know that varying by state, because unfortunately, I went through a similar situation where I was going to have to secretly record a teacher for the way they acted, but in certain states, it is 100% legal to like secretly record with like an audio device or something without people's consent, but then in other states, it's like a two-party thing where you have to at least inform whoever you're recording or people who could be affected by the recording that you are recording them. That way, you know, their privacy is not breached and whatnot. So I don't know the legality behind this because I don't know what state this took place in or anything. But I mean, if it was legal, I guess, but I don't know what they plan on doing, especially if they're not legally allowed to secretly record in their state. Like, I don't really see what you can do in court because, I mean, they're just going to be like, well, this evidence doesn't really matter because it was illegally maintained or illegally sought after, therefore they just throw it out. And then at that point, like, you have just like eyewitness testimony, and in the court of law, eyewitness testimony definitely is not as good as of evidence as like an actual recording of something happening. But of course, that really only matters if it's illegal in that state, or at least it is legal, but you have to at least inform the teachers that it's going on or something, right?
I couldn't eat for 3 days. My stomach, everything. I was just so upset, and every time I looked at her, I'd start crying.
Amber was worried when her daughter didn't want to go back to school. And as it turns out, she had a good reason.
I just can't imagine like being the parent of a kid who had to deal with something like this, especially, and this isn't like a normal kid, this is a kid with special needs. This is somebody who isn't like well-adjusted like a normal child, you know, they don't go to school and they don't have like normal social ability and they don't really understand like what their teachers are doing to them as much as say you or I would. This child is super vulnerable and all the kids in this class are all super vulnerable. I mean, they all have problems that they don't really understand to the fullest capability and that they can't really help. Yet you have all these teachers who do things like this.
I'll punch you in your face.
Well, you gotta go pee-pee? Pee-pee? Pee. Or do you not have to go pee-pee and you just want to go across the chair?
I just don't understand why, first off, the first one threatened to like punch her in the face, like this one I could punch right in the face. What compels you to like say that? You know what I'm saying? That's not even a joke. You know, you're like, you're not making a joke. You're like actually threatening a special needs child. And then the second one doesn't make sense in any circumstances because it's a girl she's talking to, so she's not gonna go jack off in a chair. And on top of that, it's a special needs kid. Like, you know, you gotta deal with them a lot more delicately than this. You can't talk to them like this. And especially at this age, like they're still saying you gotta go pee-pee. I mean, they're not in like middle or high school. If it was like high school and my teacher said something like this to me, you know, someone who doesn't have special needs, at least that I know of, I'd probably laugh and I'd be fine with it because, well, I would take it as a joke. But, I mean, this kid can't take this as a joke. I can't even pretend to understand what a special needs kid would even take this as. Like, if anyone knows, that'd be great to know, because I don't know how they would be able to even take it.
I'm gonna pull your hair until you stop crying. Don't throw it. Don't throw. Animal, you. Yep. You winch. You're like a pygmy. You're like a pygmy. How your tears dry up so quickly, crocodile.
And then she wants to destroy everything in sight.
I'm gonna knock you out.
I just don't understand. Here's my whole thing, okay? This is multiple teachers. This isn't one teacher. These are multiple teachers who are collaborating basically to bully these children with special needs. My whole point is, if you don't like dealing with kids who have special needs, if you don't have the patience to deal with kids with special needs, or even if you don't have really the expertise to deal with children with special needs, why would you ever get a job that entails only dealing with children who have special needs? I don't think that makes any sense. Like myself, I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't know much about rocket science. I'm much better at making gaming videos and YouTube videos on the internet, okay? So how many times do you think I'm gonna go out and apply for a job at NASA to be a rocket scientist? And I know that it's an extreme example because they're not the same thing, but people, I think, really overestimate how hard it is to deal with special needs children. I know plenty of special needs people, and I can't even begin to, like, imagine how much, like, training and work it takes to actually be able to efficiently deal with people who have problems like this, who can't really take care of themselves, who can't really make decisions on their own, things like that. So, if that isn't something that you want to do, why would you ever sign up to do it? If it gets to the point where, like, you're calling children names like winches, you're calling them pygmy things, how did your tears dry up, crocodile? Number one, she sounded like a total witch when she said it. When you're, like, threatening to beat them and, like, pull their hair until they cry, and you talk to them these horrible different ways, what compels you to get that job?
Do you think this has been going on for a while?
Yes. That was the first day I put the recorder in her hair.
One day you caught all
One day.
this.
8 hours.
And that's what's crazy, okay? It took 8 hours to get all of that. That isn't like a couple weeks or anything like that. That's not even just several days. That is 1 8-hour day. Can you imagine the other things that's been said to these children? Because there's no way it's just this girl. There's no way it's just this one special needs girl in this whole school where there's probably several different special needs children. I simply don't believe that, okay? I don't think that that's even possible realistically.
Unfortunately, her daughter wasn't the only child to experience the verbal abuse. Casey Murphy wasn't aware of the situation until Amber shared the recording on Facebook. Casey's son, Owen, was in the same class.
See, I told you, there was no way it could just be a single kid, okay? It doesn't even make sense, okay, when you think that one through. And that's even worse that multiple kids have to deal with it, okay? Especially special needs kids.
I'm gonna beat your butt. For sure. You know, and you're gonna get one just cuz. Growl at me, I dare you. And you won't get one. Go ahead. There's nothing says I have to give you a snack. Nothing. Looks like you get nothing, Owen. Sorry, buddy.
I don't understand it, you know? Then again, I don't go into a job that I hate so much to where I have to, like, bully, you know, special needs kids, unless, well, it was like Xbox Live Chat, then maybe. But no, on a very serious note, this isn't right. And I think any of us can see that this isn't right. This is just, it's horrible.
The school district, which declined multiple interview requests, is still investigating and says state law prevents it from sharing information. All 3 instructors heard in the recording have been placed on administrative leave, and both students are now in different classrooms.
So this part kind of upsets me a little bit personally, because first off, they didn't get fired for this, okay? They didn't get fired for the audio where they literally threatened to beat up children who had special needs and called them names, not just like even mild names, called them, you know, like, you know, winches, pygmy things, you know. Come on now. I understand they want to investigate and everything, but really, there's not that much to investigate here. And personally, okay, I think that they shouldn't just be fired. You know, I agree definitely, they should be fired, but I also think that criminal charges should be brought up against these teachers. They should be charged with child abuse or child neglect, one or the other, because what they did, I mean, they literally threatened to just, like, beat these kids up, basically. They called them names, and these aren't normal kids. Once again, I keep having to stress that, but these are not normal children. These are kids who are nonverbal special needs kids, who have no idea what's going on, they don't know how to defend themselves, they don't know how to act properly according to these teachers. I mean, come on. How is that not child abuse? How is that at least not child neglect? They're not taking proper care of these kids. They're abusing their position of power on these kids because they're teachers. I mean, these are people kids are supposed to be able to trust. And obviously, I mean, I personally would say that these kids can't trust these teachers very much. You know, they go to school every day and get fucking bullied. And you only move the 2 special needs kids that you saw in audio getting bullied, okay? What about all the rest of them, who I'm sure had to deal with something from the teachers? Because let's be honest, I'm sure they didn't just single out these 2 kids, these 2 random special needs kids to pick on. But you don't do anything with the rest of them. They get to stay in that class for when this school, you know, waits for the controversy to fall apart and they bring all these teachers back, they can sit in that same classroom and just get tormented all day again. It's horrible, man. I mean, I don't understand personally what would ever compel someone to do that, but apparently there's people who do this and they completely understand their own actions because, I mean, she's done it more. You know, it didn't just happen on this one day that it was recorded. This has been happening for God knows how long, and if they get a chance to come back, I'm sure it will happen again. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing down below. I can't wait to read that comment section. There's probably going to be a lot of very intelligent, very well-formed comments from people who understand the argument from both sides, who will be very polite and respectful to one another and their opinions, so you know, of course, I'd love to read your arguments down below. Thank you guys for watching as always. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Once again, follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my brand new content. Join the Discord down below, lots of great things going on. Also a surefire way for notifications. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. If you'd like to become a channel member and help support my content for $5 a month, you can do so by hitting the join button down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, secretly recording the teacher, and signing out.